needles and nurses and like scary stuff to me, and I just never liked hospitals. That person has, you know, 5 kids already. They clearly know what they're doing, and so that worked for their kids, that should work for me. And next time around, I just learned I'm not gonna take everyone and their auntie's advice. I think the biggest reason why my first labor was very difficult is because Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here. In today's video, I will be sharing with you all everything that I'm going to be doing differently, labor slash postpartum, this next time around, because I feel like if you had one baby, you already kind of know the mistakes that you made, the things that you want to do differently. And so I decided to share with you guys today. So hopefully this video also gives you guys some advice and things that you can take away for yourself. I also do want to give a little bit of a disclaimer because all of this is what I'm planning on or what I want to do differently, but take it all with a grain of salt because anything could go not according to my plan, and that's okay. But this is all just if I can control it and I'm going to try to do these things, then this is the way that I'd want it to be for baby number 2. So starting off with the labor portion, this time around I am trying to educate myself more on natural birth, different positions, different breathing techniques, watching more YouTube videos, actually preparing myself mentally rather than only physically. Or I feel like the first time around I just was not as prepared because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. But even though I had a natural labor, I wasn't mentally there as much as I wish I would have been, and I didn't know how important breathing was during labor. And so this time around I'm already preparing on like different ways I'm going to be breathing and different, like even to the smallest detail of like different vowels you can breathe. And I actually got a lot of these tips and tricks and different YouTube videos that I'm currently watching from Postpartum Pregnancy or Pregnancy and Postpartum TV. I will link them down below. They have been helping me out so much with different ways you can cope during labor. Natural labor specifically is what they focus on, and that is exactly what I want to be doing. Hopefully next time around also have a natural labor, but maybe go into it with a little bit more positive mindset and kind of know what I'm getting myself into rather than the first time when I just had a lot of fear of the unknown, not really knowing what's going to happen at the hospital. So I just keep telling myself and remembering that my body was made to give birth. As a woman, God made us to give birth, and I believe for myself that through Christ I can do anything. That's the verse I was repeating my first time around with my birth, and I just believe I can do this naturally again, but hopefully just have a better experience this time around, not get any pop blood vessels, not get anything on my face, and you know, just like so much pressure and tension. I just want to try to relieve that as much as possible, which I know there will still be pain because that's just what comes with birth, but you guys get what I'm saying. All right, and then going along with the YouTube channel that I mentioned, Pregnancy and Postpartum TV, I have been doing way more stretches and kind of preparing physically also my body for birth. I have not been able to do actual exercise because I find it best that I exercise in the morning, or anything that I do like productive wise with my body in the morning, and like throughout the day it's just like really hard to get to it, and then at night I'm just like left feeling with no energy. And so I've been trying to do that in the morning, but I'm still experiencing morning sickness and just random nausea that'll come about, and I just have not been able to do like exercises like I thought I'd be able to. So I'm just giving myself grace, just remembering that I am pregnant, that nausea is a thing. Sometimes it can last all the way till birth, whatever, but I still want to get my body moving. And so I noticed that stretches and just walking is probably what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the pregnancy. But the stretches that I am doing are mainly focused on preparing your body for a natural labor. And so that's what I have been doing differently this time around. um, in the sense of like preparing for labor. I didn't really think of any stretches or anything the first time around, so I'm really happy again that I found that YouTube channel. It has been giving me so much more relief, like just stretching in the morning and feeling so good. And I actually forgot to mention with the first one, I think the biggest reason why my first labor was very difficult is because I didn't have a why. I mean, obviously you have a why, like you're getting a baby, that's the outcome, but I feel like I'm the type of person where I need that like end goal. Like, why do I want a natural labor specifically? For me, it was out of stubbornness that I wanted a natural labor, because I just hate needles. I hate the thought of getting an epidural in my back, and I was just really fearful. I guess that was my why. I was very fear driven, and I feel like if I prepare myself mentally this time around, that it's not about fear, but it's about my body is meant to do this, my body's created to do this, and kind of just shift my whole mindset about it. That will hopefully give me the push and the motivation that I need to have a more positive experience. Another thing is voicing my opinion a little bit more to the nurses, doctors, whoever's going to be around me, helping me, because I think this is pretty common for first-time mothers to not really know what they're doing or what they're getting themselves into, and just think that the doctors just know everything. But we also have our instincts. We have, you know, our bodies doing different things, and not every woman is going to have the same labor. And I didn't think that I was able to voice my opinion, because I thought, you know, the nurse will tell me whenever I'm ready. I guess I just didn't listen to my instincts and kind of was just going along with what everyone was telling me. But this time around, since I have gone through it already, I think that I will try to do a better job at telling the nurses and my midwife what I need, what I'm currently feeling, if I'm feeling like pushing, or if I feel like I can hold back a little bit more. She told me I was at a 10 and I was ready to push, but I didn't feel super ready to push. And I hear a lot of times, especially if you're doing natural, you can feel your body when you are ready to push. And I didn't think that I could trust my own instincts of, oh, I'm not ready, or I think I'm ready, and I just like went for it, you know, kind of doctor's cue. She said you're ready, then you're ready. But then I ended up pushing for 2.5 hours, and I feel like a factor could have been that I started pushing too early. And I've even seen different videos, especially like the more natural approach. They say even when you're at a 10, sometimes your body is still not ready to push, and you need to give it still like, you know, 30 minutes or whatever, and then you feel that urge. And I don't think I felt that urge. I don't fully remember everything, but yeah. So even when it comes to that kind of stuff, I really just want to be clear on, like, you know, I am ready to push or I'm not ready to push. And then also this time around, I want to try to have as minimal intervention as possible. So I know leading up the last 4-ish weeks, around 36 weeks, they start checking you every week and like telling you how much you're dilated and everything. I think I'm gonna try to hold off on that until at least 38 weeks, when you can actually give birth, because there's absolutely no point of me knowing how dilated I am at 36 weeks. I feel like that gave me false hope, because I was walking around for 3 or 4 weeks at a 3, and I was like, ooh, like I'm ready, this labor is gonna be here so soon. I think 38 weeks is a good time to actually give birth, and that's when I'll actually start like asking to get checked and getting my body ready and knowing like where my body is at during that time. And also birthing at home as long as I possibly can. Now that I know the difference between like a early labor, not that painful of a contraction, and then like a 6, 7, you know, that kind of really painful contraction, the kind that you can't really talk through or be walking or like be laughing. I know the difference now, and I'm the type where I don't know what it is. I think it's just hospitals, the location, the environment in general. I've never liked them because they always meant like needles and nurses and like scary stuff to me, and I just never liked hospitals. And so when I got to the hospital, I feel like that might have slowed down my my birth and everything, because I was already really close, but then it still took like 13 plus hours. And so I think trying to birth at home in my comfort in my area as long as possible will hopefully make the process a little bit smoother. And then hopefully I don't wait too long, that I give birth in the car or something. But also I don't want to just like come to the hospital and then just like stay at a constant for a while. And lastly, for the labor portion, also from this YouTube channel, I've gotten so much insight and advice that this lady specifically, she's had 3 natural births, and she was talking about how against gravity and against the flow it is to birth on your back. And then I started thinking about it and like kind of looking into it and other people's advice, and I was like, man, that is so true. And I hear it's easier obviously for midwives or nurses to see the progress whenever you are on your back. Like that's just like the easiest position for them to see. I just personally do not feel like that would be the best position to be supporting your body in the easiest way to give birth. And so I've been looking into different ways, and if you guys want to look into that YouTube channel as well, they just have so many different like positions, advice, and techniques. And hopefully this time around I'm not giving birth on my back and I'm able to support my body in a different way. And then the second part of it, the things that I'm going to be doing differently for postpartum, a very big key thing is hopefully praying that my breastfeeding journey goes well this time around and baby's able to latch well and I'm able to breastfeed for as long as possible. With Ariel, I had to stop around 3 months because it was just an ongoing process of like trying to figure it out, and it just wasn't working out. But I hope that I keep reminding myself, letting myself just like sit down to breastfeed. I don't know how that's gonna look like this time around with having a little toddler running around and always wanting my attention. But even with Ariel, like I would sit down, but then I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to be doing something. I need to be like folding laundry. I need to be doing this. And I just feel like that's something from God that he almost reminds you of postpartum, that it's okay to sit down. Like your body needs to rest. And this is when you feed your baby's getting what they need, but you're also getting the rest that you need. And I was really, really bad at that. I just felt like I constantly had to be doing something, and to breastfeed was like such an inconvenience for me. And so just a little mindset shift this time around, that it's okay to sit down and it's okay to take a break. The second thing would be also with breastfeeding, not overthinking what I eat, and I can eat this food and I can't eat this food. And I just feel like I got so much information like thrown at me the first time around of what people were able to eat, or what people, their babies would be super cranky from this and this food. I feel like I started talking to different moms, and they're like, no, I eat everything. And some moms don't eat as much. But I came into like the breastfeeding journey with a mindset of like, I have to be super strict on everything. And I feel like that gave me so much stress, and maybe another reason why I started not having enough milk and just losing milk so early. And this time around, I'm just gonna try to eat everything, but just try it out little by little and see how my baby reacts to it. Not coming into this journey already with like fear of, if God forbid I ate something like this, my baby's gonna be crying and up all night. I feel like that just really gets into your head and it messes with you, because then you're already like eating and you're like, oh my goodness, that's it, my baby's not gonna sleep all night. Like you're like proclaiming that out loud, and your words do have power. Going along with that, I feel like I also had a lot of people give just different general advice for postpartum. And as a first-time mom, I just took all the advice. I'm just like, that person has 5 kids already, 10 kids, like they clearly know what they're doing. And so that worked for their kids, that should work for me. And next time around, I just learned I'm not gonna take everyone and their auntie's advice. Just because something worked for one mom and all her kids doesn't mean it's gonna work for you. Take everything with a grain of salt. I felt like I had to do everything that everyone was telling me, and I didn't really listen to my motherly instincts that I had. I knew my baby the best. no one else knew my baby like I did. And if I made a certain decision, then that's because I'm the baby's mom and I know what the baby needs at that time. Next, I will hopefully not put this baby on such a like strict schedule and be like, oh my goodness, it's nap time, we have to go home. Like, I think with the second baby, they should be a little bit more flexible on their schedule, since now I'll have two and it's not like, oh my goodness, one is crying ready to go to sleep and one is fine, and I always have to be on these different schedules and just stressing myself out on like it's 8 o'clock on the dot and they're not sleeping, what is going on. I feel like I have to let myself just say it's okay if they don't go to sleep at this certain time and wake up at this certain time and, you know, feed at this certain time, because that's how it was with Ariel, and I feel like that put a lot of pressure on me and her, because I was like expecting, like had such high expectations for her being on this time schedule. And I know a schedule and routine is really important for babies, but my approach to it was not as positive as I wanted it to be. And so hopefully with 2 kids, I'm able to kind of let go of that control, because that's just my personality. I love to be in control and I love to have everything on a set schedule, but that's just what I learned. That's not how babies work. They have their own schedule and you just gotta go with the flow. And ending off on a really good note, very last thing is I'm just gonna try to enjoy this newborn stage as much as I can and cherish it. They always say cherish it, even the sleepless nights, even the, you know, feeding, is the constant diaper changes, the constant, you know, laundry and everything, because now I know how fast it goes by. When you have your first one, you're just kind of like in survival mode, but now I know how fast it actually goes by, and they literally in the blink of an eye, they're walking, they're running, they're talking, they're eating, and I just want to soak up these little moments when they're just sleeping on you, when they're super cuddly and they're so chill and they're just laying and sleeping all day, because the first time around I don't think I did that, or I realized how fast it truly goes by. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't ramble on too much, but these are just things that I noticed from the first time around that I really want to have a better approach and a more positive thinking when it comes to labor and postpartum. And I'm just really excited to see how different it is going to be this time around. I have an amazing community here of moms that are just so amazing, so supportive, and so loving, and I'm just so ready to meet this little baby. But with all that being said, thank you for watching and thank you for staying till the end of this video. I will see you guys in my next one.